Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand. Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, 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 Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand. Cause you are the one for me. You just believe. You just believe. You just believe. You just believe. Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand. Cause you are the one for me. You just believe, 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 Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, 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 heart. Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand. Cause you are the one for me. You just believe. You just believe. You just believe. Listen to your heart, tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart, tell me that you understand. Cause you are the one for me. If you just believe, 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 you just believe.
Yes, people, are we? How are we? Welcome back to another late night chat. Your favorite, my favorite, our favorite Manchester City late night podcast. What about that for an introduction, huh? Yeah, we're full of energy. We're feeling good. Life is blessed. We are under a month away from Manchester City getting back to action. Don't know about you lot, but I'm getting a bit bored of the international stuff. It doesn't hit me. Do you know what I mean? It doesn't hit me like that the way City do. But look, we're getting there. We're getting there. We have to get through it. Listen, a decent show planned for you lot tonight. We're going to talk about Ederson, Kevin De Bruyne, of course, two potential outgoings. Both in slightly different situations, but both potentially going to the same destination. We're going to talk a bit about potential other names we've been linked with. Of course, we have mentioned Kimmich before. Adam Wharton has cropped up in the last few days, so we're going to chat about that. And whatever else you guys want to chat about. These shows are as much for you lot as they are for us. So get involved, man. If there's anything particular you want us to have a chat about, we're more than happy, man. We're more than happy. We're a community here. Do you know what I'm saying? And if you're part of the community, hit the like button, man. Hit the like button. That's all we ask. Get those thumbs ups. Hit subscribe if you're new around here. We just passed 9.1k. Well done, everybody, for that. And the community's growing, man. The community's growing. Big up to each and every single one of you. Who we got in the building, man? Big up to Briggsy. Big up to Luke. Big up to Mahmood, Ayaz, Daniel Thompson, Noah, I'm Guardiola, Pepper Squad, Lassiel Blue. Big up to all of you, man. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hit that thumbs up button on your way in. House rules. You know the drill, people. You know the drill. It's been a fun day, man. It's been a fun day, you know. I didn't have on my bingo list for today that I'd be beefing Man United fans, but here we are. You know what I mean? Man United fans I haven't beefed for many years because they've not really had much to beef us for, but it's the way it's turned out, you know. United announced a new contract for Eric Ten Hag, which I think is great news. I think that's great news for us, for the Premier League. I think Ten Hag staying means United will remain shit. I think they are a shambles of the club. I think this new structure they have in place with Ineos and Radcliffe is full of false hope and lies. You know what I mean? You're talking about a guy who promised to pay for a new stadium. Now he's trying to get the government to pay it. You're talking about a guy trying to make Man United great again who's just laid off 25% of their staff. And then they're making the women get changed in the car park and that kind of thing. So, well, you know, it's all's good. All's good on that side of things. They're sending me photos of their FA Cup win and hoping I'll cry about that. But, you know what I mean? If losing the FA Cup means Ten Hag stays for another while, I can just about suck it up. Just about suck it up, Joe. Before we talk about City, it's good news. It's good news that Mr. Baldy stays.
Well, yeah, when you take into consideration, they've given a guy a contract extension when they were actively looking at a manager to replace him. You do not scour the manager market, make contact with multiple candidates to be the manager of Manchester United when you already have a first-team head coach. The plan was simply not to keep Ten Hag. I'm not having it. The plan was there to get rid of him, but nobody wanted it. There was not a name. So they're like, well, we're kind of stuck with this guy, so let's give him a contract extension. If that guy was truly who they wanted, they wouldn't have been in the market. They wouldn't have been speaking to Tuchel. They wouldn't have, been asking around for managers. So, yes, it's good news. They are basically being forced to keep a guy that they're not really sure is actually the right person because there's no one else that they deem, ready to take the job or the right person for the job. At least not right now. Maybe Mr. Southgate, once he's finished with his Euros antics, when he becomes potentially available, maybe they have a change of heart. Maybe. But I can't say I'm disappointed, to be honest, with Ten Hag staying. It's, long may it continue, because, all you have to do is watch Man United, and they are pretty terrible.
Brother,
yeah, brother.
That's how I feel, man. That's how I feel about them, man. Look, the thing is, I don't want to talk too much about them, but you're talking about a man who's worth 16.2 billion, has avoided paying income tax in England for years to go into the club, demands a national stadium funded by the taxpayer, but gets the women's team in a Portaloo and makes employees redundant. So I don't know. Are United fans going to start reading between the lines and seeing that they maybe have a bit of a crook, a bit of a gobshite running their football club nowadays? But I don't care. Look, Ten Hag is staying 10 more years. Hit the soundboard, Joe. Congratulations, Eric. You are more than welcome to stay. We are so happy you are staying in Manchester. You are a good friend of ours, and we hope you enjoy your prolonged stay.
It's such a bad sign, isn't it, when all of their rivals are going, get in, Ten Hag signed a new contract. That's the worst sign possible.
Listen, it's good news, man. It's good news, but I don't want to talk about them anymore. Right? Let's get back to what we actually really care about that much. You know what I mean? A team that finished 8th or whatever it was, it doesn't really concern me. Let's get on to Manchester City. Yeah, let's get on to Manchester City. Hit the thumbs up button, man. Hit those thumbs ups and subscribe if you're new. Right, let's start with Ederson. I did do a video about Ederson earlier on. Hit the like on this stream if you watched my video of Ederson earlier on. I kind of summarized my thoughts and I kind of condensed them as best as I could, because this is kind of it's evolving very quickly, this Ederson situation. We kind of knew about interest from Saudi in Ederson as far back as maybe late April, early May. We knew they were gonna test the waters with getting him, but they test the waters with kind of getting everybody, don't they? It's more of a test of resolve and how excited each individual player is by the big numbers, the big figures put in their face by the Saudis and so on and so forth. But it seems to be, according to a multitude of reports, evolving very quickly, as I said. One or two reports suggesting, all of this is on City Extra's Twitter, by the way, one or two reports suggesting that he has agreed personal terms with Al Nassr. Now, for those of you who don't know your Saudi clubs very well, Al Nassr is, of course, Cristiano Ronaldo's club. I think it's Laporte's club as well. So Ederson has alleged or reportedly agreed personal terms with Al Nassr in Saudi Arabia. And City will be demanding a fee in the region of 30 million for Ederson, who is, I think, 30 years old now and has 2 years left on his contract. Now, look, I am usually someone that says just trust the club, trust their judgment, trust the way they're operating, and maybe that this is the time to do so. But until I can't see into the future, I don't know what the future's going to look like. I don't know what way it's going to pan out. I mean, if we were to lose Ederson, but in our present moment, I can't help but feel this is bad. I really can't help but feel this is bad, and it would be a mistake from City to allow this to fully come into fruition. You know, I don't think the goalkeeper market is amazing right now in general. First of all, I'm going to preface by saying I don't believe Stefan Ortega should be number one. I really don't. I think he's a super keeper. I think he's an excellent, possibly the best in the world as far as backups go. But on a week-to-week basis, or Champions League, Premier League anyway, Ederson is our guy. Ederson is our guy. If you enjoy the way we play football, if you think the way we play football is a continued recipe for success, you're damaging that by, extracting Ederson from the equation, because I don't know how seriously you guys pay attention to the tactics and the build-up play and the movements, and I can't claim to be an expert myself, but from my understanding of it and the way I watch it, my conclusion is Ederson is actually crucial to it in removing the first line of press, in breaking multiple lines with one pass. Ortega's not going to do that for you, at least not consistently the way Ederson does. And then you look at the actual overall market, there's not a huge amount of goalkeepers available that I think are worth talking about properly. There's plenty of good shot stoppers out there. I like that Diogo Costa, the Portuguese geezer who saved the pens the other night. I like him, but is he Ederson? No. I think at 30 years old, Ederson in goalkeeper years still has 5, 6, 7 years in him at the highest level. And I don't want them to be anywhere else that's not Manchester City, Joe, in all honesty.
I think it'd be a shame, and I think it would go down as a transfer if we were to sell him. I think it'll go down as one of them ones where people don't actually realise how good he was until he's gone.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those, because there's a lot of people out there, well, he's not very good with his hands, and in shot stopping he's not that good. But, I mean, for one, that's false. Just go back to when we won the treble and how many saves he made, especially in the Champions League there. It's a lot of nonsense that he can't use his hands. But for number two, there is not a better goalkeeper in world football that is better with the ball at his feet. Not one. And if that's the way that we want to play, where our goalkeeper is actually going to see more of the ball with his feet than with his hands, then why would you get rid of the best at using his feet? I don't understand. Of course, now, if he wants to go, there's not much we can do. But
that's the caveat.
Yeah, if he wants to go, there's not much we can do. But you've got to make an effort to try and convince him that, even though Saudi can blow us out the water with wages and signing on fees and all that stuff, right? They can blow us out the water. We can't compete with that. But what we can do better than them is competition. In terms of the trophies you can win, the standard of football, things like that. So I guess it kind of comes a little bit down to him, because, I mean, you have to stay consistent, don't you? If a player we've always had this, if a player wants out, they're allowed to go. No exceptions whatsoever. So I guess it's not really up to us. If he feels like, he's won everything and he wants to go and get paid, he wants to go get paid. Just let him go do that. However, I still think that it's completely the wrong decision, and that we should, make considerable effort to get him to stay. I don't trust Stefan Ortega as a number one. I think he's an excellent number two. As number one, completely different kettle of fish. As a number two, he's coming in here and there, every few weeks or so, playing cup matches. Most of the time, those cup matches, even though they are knockout ties, how many of them are against the top level? How many times are we playing teams that are, slightly below our level, things like that? I mean, we all saw what happened in the FA Cup final. He had a brain fart. He had a brain fart for one of the goals. So, do you trust him as a number one? I don't know. I think it's a risk. I really do think it's a risk. I know you can pull out the save against Tottenham as well that he made, and he can do that sort of thing. But again, it's a complete different kettle of fish to just coming in every few weeks and being first reserve and that. So, I if we were to sell Ederson, I'd be looking at a replacement. I don't pay any mind to... I know people view Romano in high regard, and I do think he is one of the better journalists, one of the best journalists out there. But I think when he says that, Ortega will be number one if Ederson goes and we won't sign a replacement, I just find that hard to believe. Because, the things that we've been hearing all summer is, because we've been desperate for us to be linked with the signing. What we've been hearing is we're going to sell to buy. Like, we want to free up space in the squad to buy players. We're waiting for outgoings. There's the term run it back. We're willing to just go back with the same squad next season, which you might not be the most happy about, but that is what we're hearing. So if we're thinking, we're just going to go back with the same squad and just replace what we lose, if Ederson goes, I find it hard to believe that we won't make an effort to sign a goalkeeper, even if it's a backup. And it is Ortega as number one. We will probably sign a goalkeeper, because at that point you're looking at Scott Carson being number two and cup goalkeeper, which is not ideal. So I don't pay any mind to the bit of the Romano report which says we won't sign someone. I do think we'll sign someone, but who is it? Again, like you said, there's not really an outstanding candidate for goalkeeper to sign. There's Mainan at AC Milan. Is he gettable? Is he desired? Does he actually suit the way we play? He's a good shot stopper, but how good is he with his feet? Don't really know. I haven't really been paying much attention. Same thing with that Diogo Costa guy. He saved some penalties, yeah, but how good is he with his feet? We know this from a goalkeeper. Pep got rid of Joe Hart because he couldn't use his feet. And how good was he as a goalkeeper and a shot stopper? Like, it's got to be the right fit.
Prime Joe Hart as a shot stopper was better than all these guys. He's better than Diogo Costa. He was better than Mike Mainan. He was better than 90% of the keepers out there. He was England's number one for a long time for a reason. As a shot stopper, Joe Hart was absolutely insane. Look at his highlight reels playing for City. The guy was a freak, but he couldn't play football. So Pep said, you got to go. Do you know what I mean? To be fair, his passing was obscure, and his long range passing was pretty crap, but he's a brilliant shot stopper. He's not a Pep goalkeeper, and these brilliant shot stoppers are not really Pep goalkeepers. I mean, it's he was a classic keeper, exactly, Briggsy. Big up JTI, man, the king of the members so far in July. Good to see you, my brother. He says smash the likes. Yeah, man, dude, he says smash the likes. Piplup with a £2. Thank you, Piplup. He says Eddie had a falling out the head goalkeeper coach too. I wasn't aware of that. I wasn't aware of that at all, Piplup. Look, if that's true, well then it makes it even harder to persuade Ederson to stay. But I think, look, there's a lot more to the Ederson situation which we're going to get into. But I think people are taking too much comfort from Stefan Ortega, too much. And I think when you start to go, oh, it's fine, we have Stefan Ortega, that's when we might be in for a rude awakening. And I think you will be in for a rude awakening. People are taking too much comfort from that one save. From that one save. And you're telling me Ederson's never made a save like that? Of course he fucking has. You're telling me Ederson hasn't turned up in big moments? He turned up in the biggest moment our club's ever had. Champions League final. Point blank from Romelu Lukaku. He saves it. So people are putting too many eggs into the basket of Stefan Ortega, when the reality is we have the best in the business right now. Joe Hart apparently is going to come back and take an ambassadorial role, Daniel Thompson. But I think it's a big mistake allowing this Ederson situation to even get as far as it has. I think he feels undervalued, underappreciated, underloved. I think he definitely saw, he spends a lot of time on social media, Ederson. I think he saw the love that Ortega got for that Sun moment, and he deserved the love. Of course he did. It was a season-defining save. Of course he deserved the appreciation. But there was possibly a part of Ederson, on a human level, looking at all the love he got and going, I never got anything like that. How many saves have I made? How many crucial moments have I had? How many assists have I had? And I don't get that kind of love. And then there's the talk. Then there's the fine conversation about wages. the wage Ederson on is frankly disgusting. In reality to what in contrast to what he should be on. You know, we're talking about the greatest goalkeeper in the Premier League over the last 7 years consistently. I believe he is. You know, our most successful goalkeeper of all time, and he's earning 30 grand a week less than Mateus Nunes, and he's earning 10 grand a week more than his own backup, Stefan Ortega, who's only been here for 2 years. That's really, I don't criticize City for much business or for a lot of the transfer wages they deal out, because I think City generally have a good wage structure, and we're very, you know, strict on our wage structure. But the wage packet that Ederson's on right now is frankly shocking. It's absolutely shocking. Like, look, for the average human being like ourselves, 100 grand a week. If you want to pay me that 100 grand a week, I'll hop in. That's no problem. But for someone as established, as experienced, and as gifted as Ederson, to be on 100 grand a week and sitting at a wage table with, you know, Mateus Nunes, Kovacic, with all due respect, Stefan Ortega, it's not right. It's not right. You know, I look at Kyle Walker's on 175. Ederson should be at the bare minimum on the same level as Kyle Walker, if not on more. Vardy all 200. Why isn't Ederson at, Ederson should be in the 200 bracket at least, in my opinion, you know? I just feel for him. I think he might feel underappreciated, you know, because all the success we've had since 2017 with Pep Guardiola, I think we don't get a huge amount of that, possibly none of it without Ederson. I really do. Possibly none of it. We talk about the constants in our team throughout our success. There's very few. There's Kevin De Bruyne. There's Bernardo Silva. There's Kyle Walker. And there's kind of just Ederson. Is there many more that are still here? I don't think so. Gundo's gone. Fernandinho's gone. Mahrez is gone. Sterling's gone. You know, these guys, David Silva, Aguero, they're all gone long. The one of the constants left is Ederson. And he's not being treated accordingly. He's not being treated like someone who was spearheading us to the success we had. So on a human level, I can fully understand Ederson going, what, the Saudis are offering me 60 M's for a 2-year contract? Do you know what I mean? Break that down for me. Someone do the maths. What's 60 million over the course of 2 years for per week? Tell me that. Someone do the maths. I see you, professional cheek spot. I know you got a calculator. It's generational wealth, man. There will never be a hungry Ederson ever again. There will never be an Ederson without a roof over their head. And City are giving him 100 racks a week. I know he's still doing very fucking well. Do you know what I mean? 100 grand a week, you're still a wealthy guy. But in contrast to what the rest are on, he's poor in contrast to what the rest are on. Do you know what I mean, Joe?
Well, it's about time that he gets what he feels he's worth, which is why I don't necessarily blame him if he decides I'm going to take the bag, because this isn't just like, oh, he's on 100 grand a week. Like, he's been on 100 grand a week for past 7 years. If not, he was on less when he first came. Like, because he's had a contract extension since then. So he might have been on even less when he first came. So the man has got to feel underappreciated. And again, I hope we make a considerable effort. We're talking about doubling his wages, which is fucking justified. 100 grand a week. He's on less than Mateus Nunes, who I can remember playing about 5 times last season. Like,
he's on 30 grand a week. 30 grand a week less than Mateus Nunes.
Yeah, he's on less than Mateus Nunes, and Mateus Nunes, I could count on one hand the amount of times that I saw him play considerable minutes. Like, it's just, he needs a pay rise desperately, and I hope that even though we can't match Saudi Arabia, that he decides that it's just better playing in Europe, that he's still got years left to go, and that Saudi may still be available in the future. Because, I mean, let's be honest, Saudi Arabia is not going away. They will not go away anytime soon. So, that may be still there in the future, and they can put out his trophy cabinet. Not that he needs it, because he's won, 6 Premier Leagues, Champions League. Like, he don't need it, really. But
Got medals. He's got medals.
He's got more than enough medals, but I just hope he decides to stay, because we will be considerably worse off without him. Again, he's another player, which I said before and I'll say again, people will not realise what we've lost until he's gone. people will not realise how good he actually was until he's not playing for us and it's someone else. Because, again, he's the best at what he does. So regardless of who it is, it's going to be a drop-off. It doesn't matter who you get. You could bring me Mainan, who, good goalkeeper, doesn't scratch Ederson with his feet. I don't even know how good he is with his feet. But I can tell you he's nowhere near as good as Ederson. It just comes down to the way we play. And Pep's got 1 more year at least, potentially 2. Why split ways? Why change the philosophy? Why change the way we do things just for the sake of, well, he's got an offer and he'll be on a lot more money there. Make an effort at least. If he still turns around and decides to go, then fair enough. But pull out the stops, make something happen, make it difficult.
I know. Big up Slam, man. Good to see you in the chat, bro. He says Saudi's not going away, but it's still an absolute garbage league. It is a garbage league. It's an absolute trash league. But none of the players are going there to play for the Saudi clubs. None of the players are going there to play in the Saudi league. It's the cold hard truths. I'm sorry if it offends anyone, but anybody who's going there from the Premier League is going there for a astronomical wage increase. Ederson is not going there because he grew up in the favelas of Brazil dreaming of playing in Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? He's not going there because he grew up with posters of Al Nassr legends on his wall, if they have any. He's going there because he's being offered a stupid wage packet. And then I see you in the chat, people saying, I don't want to beg players to stay who don't want to be here. Well, we don't know if it's the case if he doesn't want to be here. I think it's a lot more complex than that. I don't personally think it's as black and white as he's like, you know what, I've had enough of Man City. I don't want to be here. I'm gone. I don't think there's any animosity. I think it's just a simple case of feeling underappreciated. I think there's room for maneuver here. I think there's room for persuasion. But City need to get the finger out, man. City need to get the finger out and say, look, we may owe you a bit of an apology even because we've underpaid you for a long time. And how he's kept so silent about that, I don't know. I don't know how it hasn't been on our radars as fans for a few years now that he's very, very underpaid. So I think
he's a mysterious guy. He's not one to raise his voice. He likes his thumbs up emoji, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's a weirdo, man. He's a weirdo. But he's our weirdo, do you know what I mean? He's our most successful goalkeeper. He's our weirdo, man. Tax-free as well, John Rowland, 100%. Do you know what I mean? You go out to Saudi, you're getting cash that you could only dream of in Europe from Saudi. Do you know what I'm saying? So I don't blame him for if he has agreed personal terms. I don't blame him, but personal terms does not mean he's gone. Personal terms does not mean he's gone. I think City putting a 30 million valuation on him is crap. I think that's really poor. I think look, even with 2 years left in his deal, I would say 50 million. I would say 50 million. Or else put a release clause of like 30 million on him next season, give him a new contract and put a release clause on him for next summer for 30 million or 40 million. Because we did that with Bernardo, didn't we? We did that with Bernardo. We said, we'll just stay another little while and we'll give you a low release clause. And that worked. We gave Bernardo a higher wage and that worked. Why can't we do that for Ederson? Ederson has been as crucial to our success as Bernardo Silva. Absolutely has. You know? So it's a sticky one, man. It's a sticky one. I don't want to see Ederson go. I don't want to see Ederson go. I'm not a believer in begging players and forcing players to stay. But I think some players are absolutely worth fighting for and trying for. You can't just give the cold shoulder to everybody who shows interest in potentially leaving. Like we're going to talk about it with Kevin De Bruyne too. Do you know what I mean? We're going to talk about it with Kevin De Bruyne too. If Kevin De Bruyne turns around and says, I want to go to Saudi, you know what I mean? If he's hell bent on it, you ultimately say, yeah, okay, go with open arms because you're Kevin De Bruyne. But initially you do try and persuade him to stay because he's Kevin De Bruyne. You try to keep him for as long as possible. You try and keep Ederson for as long as possible. Ederson's not even old. Can't believe Hugh doesn't want Scott Carson. Piplup, we're not starting this again, mate.
Add him to the list. Add him to the list. I hope you still got that list written down. There's a few players on there.
We're not starting this again, Piplup, mate. I don't hate anyone. But look, listen, it's one of those ones, man. With Ederson, we're going to have to watch evolve. And I'm in agreement with Joe that should Ederson go, we have to go into the market, have to replace him because Scott Carson cannot. Yeah, with due respect to him, he's probably a couple months too old now to be relied on. But look, it is what it is, man. We'll keep tabs on Ederson and we'll talk about it as it evolves. We're going to move it on to Kevin De Bruyne now, though, who's obviously linked with Saudi as well. Guys, hit that thumbs up button, man. We're 70 here a second ago. I don't know if we hit 50 likes. hit the thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new, become a channel member. There's a link in the chat now. Let's wish for the best, lads. We are, of course, Slam. Of course we are, my brother. Right, Kevin De Bruyne is a slightly more, I suppose, talked about one, because I think a lot more people, for one reason or another, care about De Bruyne more than they do Ederson. Maybe because he's Kevin De Bruyne. But there's a number of journalists that I've never heard of before, or maybe I have, but they're not really in the city space talking about it. There's one here, Rudy Galletti. I have heard of this guy before. I think he's an Italian journalist. Yeah. He says verbal understanding reached between Al Ittihad and Kevin De Bruyne. A delegation on the PIF and some representatives of the Saudi club spoke to the Belgian player, who gave his approval to the transfer. Now it's up to the clubs. Man City are open to letting him go. This one's a lot more. Confusing. Because he's doing a lot of talking about it himself, isn't he, Joe? Kev's doing a lot of talking about it. You know, one interview I read and I kind of go, oh, he's staying. He says he's staying. And then the next interview I hear, he's like, oh, well, you know, generational wealth. It's hard to snub that. So it's kind of hard to really get a gauge for what Kevin De Bruyne really wants. He has, De Bruyne has openly spoke on the generational wealth aspect of things that Saudi are willing to offer. De Bruyne is, if I was the Saudis, I'd be a bit like, do we want to sign people like this? Or maybe they just don't care. Whether the people are actively saying openly, the cash, man, the cash. You know what I mean? They don't give a fuck about your club, your people, your culture, and they just want your cash. But if you're offering it, you know what I mean? You're going to have takers. I mean, Joe, where are you at with Kev? It's a more complex one, I think.
Well, just on that last point, I think they're completely shameless and they don't care that people are openly going, yeah, they pay me a lot of money, I'll go. Because
a lot of people suggest, and these are not my own views. Sports washing. You know what I'm saying? People think it's sports washing, but that's for you lot to decide, you know?
Well, listen, they can't exactly turn around and go, hold on a minute, mate. You're saying you're just coming here for just the money. No, we're not having that. Why would they basically, like, triple people's salaries?
We thought you dreamed of playing for Al Ittihad.
They're offering guys who are on 100 grand a week 600 bags. Like, no, they're offering to, like, quintuple people's salaries. Of course people are going for the money. They're not stupid. They really aren't stupid. They're paying over the odds for players to try and improve their league by bringing in big names for big money because they have the facilities to do that. There's, no shame in it, no hiding it. They just do it. And, I mean, maybe it'll work. Time will tell. But in terms of Kevin De Bruyne, I just don't really know what to make because, like you said, you hear one thing and then you hear the opposite the next day. He's either saying, nah, I'm going to stay, and then he's going, look at that money. You know, my kids never have to work a day in their life if I went over there for a couple of years. So, I don't really know. I wouldn't read too much into it for now. I wouldn't, because there was supposed to be talks about a potential new contract with Kevin De Bruyne where the club were going to speak to him. Even though there was a report, I believe, like a month ago or something, saying that there's no plans in the immediate future to give contract negotiations or talks, which made sense. He was playing at the Euros and then would have gone on holiday, which he's at now. He's on holiday right now, so of course there's no immediate future talks about this because he's away. He's on holiday. He's enjoying life. He's away from football, so of course there's no immediate talks. I think we will know what his plans are when he comes back because they're going to have a conversation about his contract, about whether they can get more out of him. They're going to have these talks. I mean, I was always of the opinion that I thought because he has a family and he has, children, that he wouldn't move over to Saudi Arabia, wouldn't take him out of a stable environment. I always thought that might be a factor, but I don't know, maybe I'm wrong. I do still think, because we have spoken about De Bruyne going off to Saudi months ago now, and I don't think my opinion has actually changed that much. Where I want to keep him. I really want to keep him. I think we should do all we can to keep him. But if they offer like a record-breaking amount of money for a 33-year-old, who we can all sit here and agree can't play week in, week out 90 minutes anymore, it kind of is tempting at that point if they just pay over the odds.
So what fee are you saying? John Rowland says Salah offer was 150 million. Match that and we'll sell.
Yeah.
What do you think?
150. 150. If they offer 150, we should be
For
a
player that has
record.
1 year left on his contract.
They offer 150, yeah.
He has 1 year left.
But that's what we're talking. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about we do not want to sell this guy. If you watched him at the Euros, right? He's still got much more. He's still got much more to give. He's still got so much more left. It has to be minimum in the 100s, minimum to even consider. Has to be, because we're still talking about one of the premier players in Europe, regardless of his contract situation. We're still talking about one of the best in his position. Like, look at him at the Euros. He did all he could for Belgium. It was just Lukaku who was up front. Like, we're not sitting here, and when he came back from injury at the end of last season, he almost touched the assist record in half a season. Like, let's not mess about here. It's going to take serious money for considering selling, but there is a price. Because again, we can all sit here and kind of agree that he cannot play every single game, every single week, 90 minutes. He just doesn't have the legs for that. You're going to have to pick and choose his games next season. And if you're getting record fees for that sort of a player who's 33, it's very tempting to just take that. Because that could pay for 2 players, maybe 1 world-class player that can come in and replace him. And then we're talking about, so that's what we spoke about a few months ago when the first reports came out. And my opinion hasn't changed. I still want him to stay. I'd still sign him on a new contract, even if it means giving him the same wages that he's currently on. I'd like potentially, because he's on, 400 grand a week, I'd like potentially to have a bit of that knocked off because he's, not going to be able to play as many games. But I don't support a bank. I don't really care. Like, I'd sign him to a new contract. But if he wants to go to Saudi, and Saudi are willing to pay the money, then yeah. I don't think we should stand in the way. But again, it's got to be for the right price. I don't want us to turn around and doing what we're doing for Ederson and look at Kevin De Bruyne and go, he's 33 with 1 year left on his contract. 70 million, 60, 70 million, he's yours. No, not a chance. Okay, we should not be doing that because that doesn't pay for a suitable replacement.
It's such a hard one to navigate, to kind of make a decision on or come up with. He's on 400 grand a week. He's the highest earner at the club by 25 grand a week. Erling Haaland's on 375 grand. Believe it or not, those who think he's on like 800 grand a week. So De Bruyne on 400 grand a week. If the club were offered a substantial amount, I know someone in the chat here, where's it gone, says, yeah, Joe says Saudi don't pay high transfers like that. They pay crazy wages. But if they were to offer a crazy amount, Man City might say, we can relieve ourselves at 400 grand a week, get a big transfer fee, but which I would understand from a business perspective, even though I'm not too arsed about the business side of things. But we're then in a situation where we must go into the market. And don't get me a Savio. You know what I'm saying? With all due respect to Savio, don't get me someone of his stature in the game.
Dani Olmo and Eze can get to stepping at that point. We're talking Wirtz, Musiala, Rodrigo.
Yeah.
We're talking big boys.
If you let Kevin De Bruyne go, you go and break the bank for Musiala. You know what I mean? Because I think if you went to Bayern and said, we'll give you 130 million for him, I think they accept. I think they fucking accept. I think they do. But if you're going to let Kev go, that's when you go, right, we got to go and, you know what I mean? I don't want fucking Real Sociedad's midfielder. I don't want Eze. I don't want Dani Olmo, as you said. I don't want another Savio, a Girona guy. Get me a hitter. You know what I'm saying? Get me a big man in the game. A big name in the game to replace the profile and to try and replace the player as best as you can. Because even though we are agreeing 100% that he can't play every week, every game next season, the minutes he will play will be very impactful because that's the way he is. That's the way he is. So go and get me a big name player if you're going to sell Kev, but the priority is obviously to keep Kevin De Bruyne. Tommy said those recent Kevin De Bruyne quotes had me worried. To admit you have plenty of money, but a possible opportunity to impact his generations for years to come was almost a rationale for a decision he already expects to arrive at. So there must be quotes from Kev saying that, yeah, I know I have cash, but this is generational wealth. See, we think these footballers have generational wealth. A lot of them do. And a lot of them are very, very, very wealthy people in comparison to at least me and Joe anyway. I don't know what any of your I know professional idiot, you're probably up there with Kevin De Bruyne as far as bank balance goes, but for the most of us, you know, we can't really compete with Kevin De Bruyne financially. But you know what I mean? The Saudi money is another level above that again. That's where De Bruyne's in 2300 will still be living, you know what I mean? Living really nicely. And none of them will probably have ever worked a day in their lives. None of them have YouTube channels. They'll all be just De Bruyne's going, remember our great grandfather, Kev, yeah, went to Saudi and got a big bag for all of us to eat good. That's essentially what he's saying. That's essentially what he's saying, man. Which I don't understand.
Which is why I named my price. Which is why I said at least in the 100s of millions. Because when we're talking that money, if we get 100, but to anywhere between 100 and 150, that pays for the majority of one of these big boy replacements. Because you say, you throw maybe 120, 130 at Musiala, Bayern will probably say, yeah. You get 100 for De Bruyne, slap 30 on that, go get Musiala. It's not a bad replacement. Plus, you get the years of Musiala as well, in terms of, you know, the future. Which is why I said, if we're going to get rid of him, I don't want us to pussyfoot around and look at the Ederson situation and go, yeah, we'll accept below, we'll accept 80. No. Got to be a decent sum of cash.
I want to make it clear, I'm not picking on Savio. Why you keep picking on Savio? Leave our Brazilian star boy out of this. Savio's better than 99% of the wingers of the league. I'm not. I know I'm probably being harsh on Savio here because my point is Savio's profile in the game and what he's done in the game obviously doesn't come close to a Musiala, a Wirtz, a De Bruyne. You know what I'm saying? I'm very excited about Savio. Trust me, I'm really excited about Savio and what he's going to bring to our team. And there's a lot of hype around Savio, and I'm fully on that. But what I'm talking about is I don't want another, you know, young project. If you're going to sell De Bruyne, bring me someone who we're familiar with. That's basically, because I'm not familiar with Savio. People, I know you probably watched Savio, to be fair, because you watch a lot of you know, academy stuff and players that we're linked with. Of course, he comes close to Wirtz. He's performing in the hardest league. Maybe, but I'm not familiar with Savio. I am familiar with Wirtz. That may tell it for you, Joe. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, the thing is with Savio is that he hasn't done it on the European stage. Musiala's been playing Champions League knockout football. It's a sizable difference from just La Liga. So, and Savio's not a winner, at least not yet. You know, he's only just come to City. He's not a winning player. Musiala, you can say what you like about the Bundesliga, Farmers League, and all that. Musiala's still a winner. Still knows what it takes to win a title, get far in the Champions League. With Wirtz, I kind of understand. I think they were Europa League, and he's won a Bundesliga as well, so he's maybe just above Savio. Yeah, like there's no hate on Savio, but we're basically just saying don't sell Kevin De Bruyne and then go, I wonder who Girona have got that we can go and buy next. No, don't do that. I don't want us to bargain hunt for the replacement to the club's greatest player in its history. It's not how this works. Can you imagine the greatest player that the club has ever seen, and we are first looking at who Girona have to go and replace him? It's just not. You have to go and adequately replace him with a superstar name, or get him to stay. You know, one of the two. There's no in between.
I know. I'm people. To be clear, I'm very excited about Savio. I am very excited about Savio, but I think the point is fair. That me and Joe don't want a Girona player to replace Kevin De Bruyne. Let me have a look at some of these super chats. Big up JTI says smash likes, people. Smash the likes, people, man. Let's get up to 60 likes. Pip says I'd rather play for Bury FC than in a sandpit. Huh? You know, Bury are getting back to ways now. I think the club is functioning again. But you know, there you go. Big up AK850 says I agree with LB. Get Kevin's successor this summer.
It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen, but I think City a couple of years ago would. I think things have slightly changed at City, the way we operate as far as transfers go. I think a couple of years ago we may have looked for what we believe to be Kevin De Bruyne's replacement. But the reality is maybe right now we don't feel there is a Kevin De Bruyne replacement. And maybe we're waiting. Maybe Kev has said, I'm going to stay with Pep until the end. And then when Pep and Kev go, then we'll start to worry about a proper rebuild. But I mean, I don't know. Do you want to fire some names, chat? Fire some names at me. Who do you think is capable of coming in and impacting straight away in even a close capacity to Kevin De Bruyne? Because there's not many. There's not many, if any. You know,
they're all unobtainable for the current rules that we have in place in the Premier League. I don't want to keep going on about, all of this PSR and all these other bollocks, right? But we can't afford to go and sign a big superstar heavy hitter De Bruyne replacement if we think we need to, sign in other areas as well. We can't go and drop loads of money on a replacement for a player that may leave in the next couple of years. When we've already got other holes to address. We've got a holding midfielder to buy. Supposedly we want, another attacker in a wide area potentially. You look at Kyle Walker, do you replace him if he goes? Ederson, do you replace him if he goes? Like all the players that could replace Kevin De Bruyne in the way that you think about replacing him in terms of come close to what he does, be an immediate impact, they're unobtainable. You have to go for potentially an Eze or an Olmo or someone like that. If you were to get him right now, which is why I don't think we're going to get a successor this summer. We might be in a situation where it just comes down to a gamble, and we buy his successor as soon as he leaves. Like we buy it when we have to instead. When we've got no other choice.
Valverde. Topaz says Joe's condoms. I told you, people. I told you all your memberships. And your gifted memberships and your super chats, they all go into the fundings for Joe's new condom company. So that's where your money's going. Every time you super chat, every time you gift a membership, that's where your money's going, into funding Joe's new business venture. And I support Joe. As one of Joe's best friends, I support Joe in that venture. So, People Up just bid for Valverde. I would fucking love Valverde. Fuck me. You don't know what I would do to have Valverde. I think he is a sick footballer. The technical ability, the vision, the execution. Tell you, man, Valverde in this City team would be a beast. Different gravy. If there's two players in Europe you could give me right now, yeah, it's not Vinny, it's not Mbappe. Joe, do you know who they are?
Well, I'm just in one of them is probably Valverde, given the reaction.
Yeah, Valverde won, yeah. Who's the other?
Valverde. The other?
Uh-huh.
Musiala, is it?
Nope.
A chance. You're not saying Bruno, are you? Bruno G?
No. I like him, but no.
I'm trying to think of what we need. I don't know who your eyes are on, because I know you're a big fan of Musiala, and if it's not him,
nope.
You've said Tchouaméni before. It's not him, is it?
It is. Ding ding, hit the soundboard.
Yeah.
Ding, ding. I'll tell you for a fact, chat. If it's never gonna happen, but if we went and got Tchouaméni and Valverde in one summer, we win everything. Everything. You have the creative execution and everything that comes with Valverde. And then you have the defensive solidity to help and complement Rodri of Tchouaméni. Two players that if we got would transform everything of our football team right now. They would inject everything we need and we are missing. Tchouaméni and Valverde. But, you know what I mean? They're both chilling, aren't they? They're both chilling.
Well, honestly, Piplub says Yamal. I do disgusting things to get Yamal. He is so unbelievably good. I watched him for Spain. He's unbelievable. And we kind of need a right winger. That's more hate on Savio, by the way. Don't come at me, because he's coming in on the right. But we kind of need a right winger. We've got Doku and Grealish on the left. We're on the right. We've got Bernardo, maybe. Savio, maybe, if he's any good. He probably will be good, just maybe not in his first season. Got Oscar Bob. We're kind of lacking maybe potentially on that right side for a bad boy winger. So I think he'd be up there if he was to give me blank checks. He'd be up there.
Yeah. But Madrid are not selling to us. They're not selling to us. Madrid got pumped by us 4-0. What did they do? They went and bought Jude Bellingham. Yeah. The following summer, what did they do? They've gone and bought Kylian Mbappe and this Euro guy. What are they going to do next summer? Bookmark this. I bet you they'll make a big effort for Saliba next summer. Yeah, they got so sick of us looking good and eventually winning the Champions League and battering them eventually. That one time we battered them, yeah, that we woke the beast. When we battered them 4-0, we woke the beast. And by the beast, I mean we opened their checkbook. That's what we did to Real Madrid. So, in a way, we only have ourselves to blame. But it was worth it. You know what I mean? I was there. It was a good night. It was a good night.
They thought they had us after the first leg, the 1-1, because they were kind of better than us on the night. They thought, right, game's open. Just need to have a game plan. And then they just came up against like one of the greatest first half I have ever witnessed. Like,
I know.
I wish I could. I see it every now and again on Twitter. I wish I could go back. Those times were fun, but we've potentially ruined European football by doing that.
People says, why would they go for Saliba? And then Rico Jr. says they ain't going for Saliba. They will go for Saliba. I promise you they'll go for Saliba. Joe, please explain this to them. I've explained this to them a million times.
They will go for anyone who they deem good enough to play for Real Madrid, because that's what Real Madrid do. They want a player, they get a player, no exceptions. They are bankrolled, bank funded. There is not a single player in world football that Real Madrid cannot turn around and say, we want them, but we can't get them. There is not a single player where that happens. If they wanted Haaland instead of Mbappe, they would have had Haaland. They would have been able to take him off us if they really wanted him. If they really wanted him, in that situation. If they want to come and take Vardy off us in a few years, if they want to come in and get Saliba when their defence needs a change up, trust me, it's Real Madrid. They get that shit done. They sign big name players. They sign the bad boys. They're done fucking about. They got battered in their own competition, went and got Bellingham and Mbappe on a free. You think they're going to be done there? They're building the new Galacticos. Why do you think they're signing Endrick and Arda Güler and all of these young players? Like they ain't stopping. You might not want to believe it. You might not want to hear it. But we had this conversation in our chat, didn't we? Where their next position of strengthening is backline, potentially goalkeeper. They are set in midfield. They are set going forward. They have players of great ages in numbers. Valverde, Tchouaméni, Camavinga, Bellingham, Güler. They have Brahim Diaz, Rodrigo, Vinicius, and but I could fucking go on. Endrick, that's about the gist of it. At the back, maybe lacking a bit. They've lost Nacho. They've got Alaba who's getting on. Rudiger who's getting on. Carvajal who's getting on. Their next big spree of signings is going to be defenders, and they will go for some of the best names that they possibly can. Saliba falls into that. And I think this might be the point that you were about to make. He already has multiple of his French international teammates playing for Real Madrid who can convince him.
Camavinga, Mendy, Tchouaméni, Mbappe.
Like, it all lines up. Plus, Saliba's one of the best defenders in Europe. I'm okay with saying, I will admit that he is one of the best defenders in Europe, and he's one of the youngest as well. They will pull out all the stops. If they really want him, they'll get him. 100%.
If they go in for him, he says yes. I'm sorry to Arsenal fans, this may upset them, but if Madrid come in for Saliba, he will want to go. He will want to go. That's just the he is the best centre half at the minute, in my opinion, in the Premier League. And if he has another season like he did last season, if they go in for him, he's saying yes, and he'll push for it. Of course, he fucking will. You know what I mean? With Mbappe, Camavinga, Tchouaméni, Mendy, all there. Oi, it's hard for him to say no.
The only hope Arsenal have is that he turns around and goes, "No, I want to stay at Arsenal," because that's what we had. I think. Was it Piplup who said that? David Silva turned down Real Madrid for us. That's because he said no.
True. So look, there are some exceptions, of course, every now and again, but you can kind of hedge your bets, I should say, on the player wanting to go. But David Silva, he was a loyal guy. Big up LFC Sai becoming a member. Hit the soundboard, Joe.
There we go.
LFC Sai, welcome to the HMTV Members Club. Your money and your membership is going towards Joe's new company, Joe's Condoms, Rubber Joe's. Big up to you. Welcome to the community. Massively appreciate you, brother. Appreciate all our members, all our super chatters. And you've gifted before as well, LFC Sai. So You know what I mean? We massively appreciate you here. So yeah, big up to you, brother. Big up to you. Big love. Hit that like button, people. Hit that like button and subscribe if you are new around here. Big up to you, Rico Jr., man. I appreciate you coming in as well. Right, let's is there anything more to say on Kevin De Bruyne? Look, my personal opinion is, and I'm gonna keep it this way on Kev until anything major happens. Nothing from Rudy Galletti and these Italian journalists, and until something major comes out. My opinion on Kev is that he's gonna stay until at least Pep leaves. Kev has said in the past he wants to retire at Manchester City, and he may very well do that. I think he'll fulfill. I don't think he's going this summer anyway. I don't think he's going this summer. Will they give him a new contract till 2026? A 1-year rolling contract, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, I think. What's your opinion, Joe? I think he's staying. To be honest.
So do I. And again, I hope he stays. But again, my opinion hasn't changed for the last few months. If there's an offer good enough and I've named my price, then I would be okay so long as we use that money to immediately go out and get one of about 3 names to replace him. Other than that, no, you keep him because he can still hack it. Because they're more than capable of turning up in big moments in big games and, you know, having his say. So of course you keep him. I don't think there's too much reading into it either as well, by the way, with the journalists that are coming out with these pieces, because I don't know how much I trust an Italian journalist on an English club's transfer business with Saudi Arabia. I don't know how much I'd necessarily trust that. How much information has he actually got between the two parties? I don't really know. If it was one of the City journalists or one of the English journalists, even Romano, even I'd maybe pay more attention to it. But there's really been no big hitters reporting on this, so I don't really pay too much attention. It'll be what it'll be. I don't think he's like come to a decision on anything. I think he'll speak to the club first, and they'll be the first ones to know what he wants.
Facts. Professional idiot Joe looks ready to murder someone, specifically you, Hugh. Every stream, Rubber Joe's condoms go up. Can you confirm or deny this, Joe?
A little bit, maybe. He comes up every single stream.
There you have it, people. It's a public appeal. Become a member, super chat, do whatever you have to do. Joe needs funds for his new company, and you can tell he's very enthusiastic about it. So, look, help a young entrepreneur out, essentially, is what he's saying. Big up to Joe. Still be using the chat for Joe, taking a business venture. You know, it's always a very nerve-wracking thing to do, but he's taking...
I wonder if this will ever go away. You've made it impossible. Because every now and then someone comes in and mentions it, and it just pops the idea back in your mind of, I said this one.
Wait, don't say pop when we're talking about condoms, man. You know what I'm saying?
No. Yeah, what was your company again? Phones.
Yeah, Hughes Phones, man.
You got phones. I got the short straw.
Phones. Got the long straw, depending on who's buying. Do you know what I mean?
This is supposed to be a transfer. This is a transfer show. We've taken a turn.
Oh, big up to you, professional idiot, man. Big up to you, brother. Hugh, are you excited to see Vinny manage Bayern? Made some good signings. I am excited to see Vinny manage Bayern. Is there a part of you thinks it's a potential trial exercise for Vinny for the City job in the future, Joe?
100%, because we saw what happened in the Championship with Burnley. He pissed it. Absolutely dominated. One of the best Championship seasons ever. Because he was obviously that Burnley team was one of the best teams in the division. And he got them playing really good football. It was when they came up to the Premier League where his reputation took a hit because he was so stubborn, which I guess a lot of top managers are, that he refused to play any other way apart from this positive possession style attacking football as basically one of the underdogs. They were not a Premier League standard of football club. They just weren't. They were fresh up from the Championship. They probably could have done with being a little bit more pragmatic, maybe, than thinking what the blueprint that got him up was going to keep him up. So his reputation took a hit. But if he does well with Bayern, I think the thinking is if he does well with Bayern, then his style of play will suit a better squad, which is what we have. So maybe that's the thinking of, disregard what happened with Burnley, because I think most people expected him to go straight back down. So maybe just kind of disregard it a little bit. But if he can prove that his style of football translates when he has a good squad, then I think, yeah, it's almost like a trial period of, if he's got good players, his style of football works. And, if that works, maybe potentially future City manager. You never know. It depends how it lines up, though, because if Pep does leave in 2025, which, I mean, at the moment he is, because, no contract extension as we're sitting here now. If he does leave in 2025, I don't think a 1 year of company at Bayern is enough for City to turn around and go, yeah, that'll do. No. He's our manager. And I don't think it's enough for Bayern to turn around, unless he has an absolute hooner and they sack him. I don't think it's enough for Bayern to turn around and go, yeah, we'll part ways after a year. So it just doesn't line up time frame wise. Maybe if Pep signs the 12 months extension and goes till 2026, a couple of years of company at Bayern, maybe, potentially. But I do think it was because Pep has already said that in the future, company will be the manager. And also, he put in a good word with Bayern, saying he's a good manager. So, potentially trial running. Because again, if he wins the Bundesliga, I think we've spoken about this before. It's not just the Bundesliga; he has to do well in the Champions League as well. Because Bayern are kind of expected to win the Bundesliga. So if he does well in the Champions League, that's kind of gonna be how good he is as a manager, really, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, professionally, it says maybe the quality just wasn't there and probably needed strengthening in the offense. They definitely didn't strengthen accordingly for Premier League football when they won the championship. But look, it is what it is. That situation when they got relegated last season. He's obviously, I don't know how to phrase this correctly. Is he at Bayern under the technicality of a legendary recommended job? I don't know. Maybe.
But no, because obviously the word was that Pep put in a good word for him, and that obviously helped him get the job. But there was also, you have to just look at the manager market. What was available at one point? They were trying to get Tuchel to come back. That's how bad the manager market was. There really wasn't anyone.
True. With Vinny at Bayern though, like the pressure's on. The pressure's on. There's absolutely no way in nine hells that the Bayern board and ownership accept 2 years in a row of not winning the Bundesliga. So at the bare minimum, Vinny has to win the Bundesliga this season. So look, I think we can all agree his style of football is exciting. It's progressive, and it's enjoyable to watch. But it didn't maybe work out with the quality of players he had. So give him the quality of players he's going to get at Bayern. Musiala's, Sané's, Gnabry's, Kane's, these guys, Kimmich, I don't know. How will it fare? How will it fare? I will be watching closely. Right, let's move on to our last sort of segment of the show. And it's kind of more of just a conversation, really, because there's not much news about it, although I saw it kind of rumored a few days ago. But before we do, hit that like button. Reminder, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're new. And there's a link in the chat if anybody wants to support Rubber Joe's and become a channel member. Right, people. What do you know about Adam Wharton?
Rest in peace, Sergio Gomez, real quick. But not forgotten.
Yeah. Should we have a minute silence for Sergio Gomez?
I can get a timer up if you want.
I'll get a timer up. We're gonna do a 30-second silence for Sergio Gomez. Okay. Ready? Go. There we go. Sergio Gomez has left Manchester City Football Club.
Oh my God. You'll only get that here.
Even the chat went quiet. Sergio Gomez, here we go. He's going to Real Sociedad. We wanted 15 million for him, but what is it? We got 9 million in the end or something like that.
I saw 7.5. It's nothing.
Yeah, but look,
we paid nothing.
It was best for him and best for us. We've cleared him off our wage book. He's not going to play any football. The club got a small bit of money for him. It is what it is. You know, with all due respect, I think he's a good footballer. I do, but there's being a good footballer and there's being a Manchester City player. You know, there's a massive difference between those two. You know, he's a winger playing at left back for us at times. We now have Vardy and Ake there who will fight it out for that position. You're not trumping either of them. It is what it is, man. Best of luck to him. I wish him genuinely the best of luck. He was always a hard worker, professional, never complained, never moaned, went about his job very well. So yeah, look, I mean, do you have any words for the eulogy of Sergio Gomez, Joe?
The eulogy. No, we signed a guy who came up through academy level football as an attacking midfielder / winger, and signed him for 11 million, and said you'll do as a left back. And then we were confused as to why he couldn't defend. And then when we realised that he just couldn't defend, we tried him in a couple of different positions. But again, like you said, he's got Grealish, Doku, Bernardo, Oscar Bob, Savio coming in now. Like, he was never going to play on the wing. He can't play as a fullback because he can't defend. I mean, look at the midfield options. We have Kovacic. If Mateus Nunes can't get a game, no chance Gomez was getting a game in midfield. So it didn't work. No love lost, I suppose. He didn't cost us much. We didn't get much for his sale. He kind of just came here, won a few trophies, and then bounced. I guess it kind of worked for him.
Yeah, big up to him, man. Big up to him. Best of luck. Whatever it is, what it is. Right, let's talk about the last sort of few minutes of the stream. Let's talk about Adam Wharton. Adam Wharton has been, I suppose, rumoured to be of interest to Manchester City this summer. Obviously, he's away with England at the Euros right now. A very, very bright talent. People are rating him very highly. What age is he, man? Is he 19 or something like that? Is he 19, 20, Joe? Do you know?
No, I don't know his age or his contract or anything. He just appeared out of nowhere one day.
Well, you're not going to like his contract. I have it here in front of me. He's on 35 grand a week, which we can more than match, you would think. But the issue around it is he has 6 years left. Palace don't have to sell him at 6 years, or 5 years, I should say. Palace don't have to sell him. They can kind of ask for whatever they want. I think he's a very good young player. He's got a lot to learn, a lot of refining to do, you know. But, you know, he could probably help Rodri out quite a bit right now in the Premier League. But is it something that we see happening this summer? No, I don't, to be honest, Joe.
No, the length of contract there is going to be a stumbling block, because even though he'd probably want to demand at least a wage increase at Palace to be happy, he can't really kick his heels and drag his feet and go sell me when he's contracted for 5 more years. Because Crystal Palace can just go and basically say, we can hold on to you for another 2 or 3 without your value really tanking before we have to sell. They can really afford to do that. So, are they going to sell? Probably not. It already looks like they're going to lose Elise as well to Bayern. It's another option for company, but it looks like they're going to lose Elise. Are they going to want to lose Wharton? Eze's got a release clause as well, so there's a potential that they might lose him. You'd imagine if they're going to go into some sort of rebuild around the money that they get for that he'd be part of that. I mean, he's an England international in the loosest of terms. He got a game in a friendly and Southgate brought him, but has no plan on using him in the Euros. So he's a technical England international, has a cap. I think you get a cap for a friendly. So, you know, good promising signs. I like some of the quotes I've been hearing as well. There was one that I saw the other day of where he weirdly enjoys passing the ball to the number 10 and watching him turn and run at the defence, that he enjoys that, which is psychotic, but I guess that's the life of a deeper midfield player. He enjoys that. I'm sure Pep would enjoy that from him as well. The psychotic nature of, I really enjoy playing a pass to someone and watching them turn.
Yeah.
It's just a bit weird, but it's low down on the list. When we talk about able Rodri deputies and compliments, Adam Wharton falls a little bit down the list for me. There's the risk, isn't there, that we've spoken about with other things like Xabi Alonso and, you know, various other players where it's 1 year, it's 1 season. it's a risk to go and blow money on him after one season and, hang your hat on him. He's very inexperienced. We're potentially talking about give him another year. Give him another year, see what happens. Give him 2 years, see what happens. It's a very risky piece of news. What is this guy doing? Would you leave us alone?
Say hello.
You've moved him out the way.
Oh, fuck.
And he's gone. Anyway, special guest appearance. Jesus Christ. Anyway.
Oh, stream's a shambles.
The stream's gone off the boil. But you know what I'm saying? Like, when people say Xabi Alonso as a manager is a risk because it's only one season, same sort of thing. It's a risk because he's had a good season, but you need to let him marinate. You need to let him grow a little bit.
I agree. Frankly, Crystal Palace is about to be torn apart piece by piece, but Wharton is staying. Yeah, I agree, because the length of his contract, as Joe says, they can hold on to him without his value really depreciating. If he's to ever play for Manchester City, I think it will be in 2, 3, 4 years' time. But I think he'll be gone by then. Some will snap him up, some will pay the money, and some will take the risk on him. It's not really in our nature. If any Crystal Palace is to come to Man City, it'll be Eze, even though I still don't see that happening. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. As of right now, it's only really outgoings that we're able to properly talk about. I don't know. So we'll just have to wait and see, man. We'll just have to wait and see. We're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna go play some pro clubs. Anybody who's a member and ever wants to play pro clubs with us, just join our Discord and this, that, the other, or become a member now, man. Become a member now and help support Joe's Rubber Joe's condom companies. As I say, all your money will be going into helping this young man on his entrepreneurial adventure. Elisa DeBayer ain't he as well? Is Elisa DeBayer done, Joe?
I wouldn't necessarily say done, but was it Romano was saying today that there's like medical tests or something? There was something going on with Elisa. It's very, very close to being done. That one's been going on for a while, though.
Yeah, I'm just looking at Romano's page now. He tweets too much, Romano, I can't lie. But
Yeah, this fucking guy, like, I know it's his job, but get a hobby.
yeah, man, touch some grass. Do you know what I'm saying? Touch some grass. Is there anything about Elise? I don't know. He's more than likely gone to Bayern. He's more than likely gone to Bayern this summer. So yeah, they're not going to sell Elise, Eze, and Adam Wharton the same summer. It is what it is. We'll have to see. Listen, we'll be back either tomorrow or Saturday for late night again, because the Euros is back tomorrow, isn't it? So yeah, turn on the notification bell, hit the like button on your way out, subscribe if you're new around here, and we will see you then. Go and check the video I did earlier on. Hit the like button on it, man. I like making videos, so if you guys show love to them, I will keep making the videos. So come on, England. Rub Joe.
Listen to your heart. Tell me who you wanna be. We can always start to believe. Listen to your heart. Tell me that you understand. 'Cause you are